Hello, good morning. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. We are back again on another edition of the morning program. Well, as you know, on this program, we do a whole lot of things here. We do the newspaper review and, of course, look at community watch and social issues. And we bring experts to discuss some of the things discussed here. And on the newspaper review, we'll be looking at some of the headlines of the newspapers we have, the daily newspapers in the Gambia. And I am with Ansumana Esonyasi. Good morning, Anso.
Good morning, Balde. Good morning to Mr. Mboj and, of course, to our audience out there. Welcome to This Morning on QTV.
Yes, it's good to have you here, and you've been doing the laws for a very long time. What happened?
Well, I'm around, just busy with other office work, but I'm around.
I've not been seeing you, and the morning platform missed you so much. Well, I mean, I was telling Ade yesterday, where is my Ansumana? Where is Aliu? Where is Jenaba?
As you may be aware, I read the news last night, so I wasn't around in the morning. I came in the afternoon. I was in the afternoon shift yesterday, but I'm happy to be back on this platform, really. Absolutely.
On the platform, we are joined by Mr. Momodu Mboj, as usual. Mr. Mboj, if one can prove me right, I mean, Mr. Mboj, during his 20s, he was a very handsome young man. Mr. Mboj, is that the case?
I'm not even going to go there. You and Ali and Jainaba, you've been absent, for a few episodes, and I've been stepping in.
Well, I mean,
we have very handsome old men in here.
Actually, I mean, and when you look at their age, how they are now, I mean, you can still connect to what.
Yeah, if you look at Mr. Ade, you look at Mr. Cole.
Look at Mr. Ade, look at Mr. Cole.
Even Mr. Kai,
Especially Cole.
They must have been very nice, handsome.
Cole would have, I think Cole was this handsome, young, fair guy. Very sharp. I know, right? Very sharp. Yeah. All right, thank you very much. On our program today, we'll be looking at the African proverb and, of course, the newspaper review. As I introduced Mr. Mboj already, he'll be doing the newspaper review with us. And on Community Watch, we'll be looking at the storage facility in Mandinari. And, of course, there are reports reaching QTV that, I mean, some of the tanks at the storage facility are leaking, and we'll find out why and what are they doing to make sure this leakage is being controlled, because whenever a fuel tank is leaking, I mean, that's a sign something should be done. And, of course, on social issues, we'll be discussing alien card and national identity cards, and we'll be having the immigration reps in the studio. They're already in the building, but we'll have them later in the studio on social issues, and we'll be having a lengthy discussion when it comes to ID cards and alien cards in the Gambia, how to acquire them, what should qualify a person to get these documents. And we'll start with the African proverb. So if you can guide us through.
Thank you, Balde. So our proverb this morning reads, not to know is bad, not to wish to know is worse. I repeat, not to know is bad, not to wish to know is worse.
You know, last night when I was going through some of the African proverbs we have, I saw a list of African proverbs. But this one really caught my attention, and I said we should discuss this proverb. And here it is. Not to know is bad.
Yeah.
Not to wish to know is worst. It reminds me of something. He who knows and makes himself he knows not is a fool. He who knows not and makes himself he knows is a fool. Yes, Mr. Mboj, can you come in and help us on that?
Yeah, and some people will tell you that the more you know that you know nothing. And when I looked at this one, two ideas, two concepts entered my mind. The idea of ignorance and curiosity. I think ignorance, to some extent, we can help it, given the amount of stuff that there is to know in the world. I will always be ignorant about certain things. But this is it. The worst is not to have any curiosity to know. That's extraordinary, because I think without that curiosity, there can be no inventiveness. There can be no innovation. So it is really curiosity that is so much forward-looking.
Yeah.
Here I remember, this is a wonderful line from John Fitzgerald Kennedy, JFK, former president of the US, when he said that, I look at things as they are and say why. But again, I look at things as they are not and say why not. Extraordinary, especially the second line. So that curiosity, that wanting to know, that pushing yourself, absolutely. If you lack curiosity, to my mind, you lack the future.
What do you make of this?
Well, I couldn't agree more with Mr. Mboch. I think it's self-explanatory, you know, to a large extent. So, yeah, he summed it up for us.
Yes, but again, there's something else about curiosity. So, because when I was thinking about it this morning, I remember when we were younger, yes, when kids started to ask sort of awkward questions, you know, from our parents, they'll say, nope, shut up, why should you ask that?
Yeah.
Human beings are also quite afraid to some extent of curiosity.
Yeah.
It will lead you perhaps sometimes to go against the orthodoxy. You see, societies, we want stability. We want our kids to more or less follow our steps, as it were. But again, you might have this kid, this prodigy, who would come and ask awkward questions because of the curiosity, and we don't like that. In fact, we know that in the past, people who were excessively, some people would call it that, curious, they've been killed in the past.
Yeah.
Well,
so this is the danger of curiosity.
And then you hear statements like the first one.
Yes,
You know.
It's the danger.
I think most parents are guilty when it comes to kids asking certain questions, including myself. At some point, I'll tell my son, I mean, this is not a question for a small child.
See, you are so retrogressive. My grandmother used to think like that. I don't. You see, we have to engage with our past and see what is it that I should take on, what is it that I should shed. Every taking on of new things means that you're going to have to leave some things behind. That's the difficult bit.
True.
That's really the difficult bit.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you'll be bloated with contradiction.
Well, some of these things we tend to avoid. I mean, children saying certain things and we avoid them. So it's bunkum.
The curiosity is wonderful.
You know, look, I mean, you look at all these wonderful discoveries that you know that we've had, you know, in the world. I mean, most of it came about, I mean, through what curiosity. Without it, I mean, most of these things wouldn't happen. Today, you're using that phone because someone was curious enough to think, okay, what if I do this? What would be the result? So I think, you know, to a large extent, it's good. It's a good thing.
Exactly. Interesting interaction here and interpretation of the African proverb. We are live on This Morning, and of course, in our studios on Kairaba Avenue. Of course, this is the African proverb. We'll take a short break. After the break, then we will go straight to the newspaper review. And I know before the program ends or the program catamalize, I know most of them can't relate to certain words, but we will, before it ends, I mean, you know, everything has the alpha and the omega.
Where are you getting this word from?
Yeah, so you can also put it as if the program is catamalizing or the program is to catamalize. Well, I think maybe the things that I'm saying here, they are taking it as a bunkum. I mean, but we'll take a short break. We'll be back.
Oh my God.
It's happy time. Get 50% off all calls to any network. Enjoy calls every day to any network from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Is it too good to be true? QCell. We innovate, others follow.
We are back again, and of course it's Q TV's This Morning, and